wide open. The doors come flying out and the pigs come flying through to your screen. It's the Flying Pigskin Show. It's available only on WCPO.com. Welcome. And unbelievably, sitting in the big chair this week is Mr. Satin. This is unbelievable.
We're here.
There's some sort of insurgent takeover of the studio. And because of the upheaval, you wind up in the chair. This is huge, man.
Yeah, you know, this is just massive for my career. You know, we never thought it would come to this.
I didn't know you had one.
Yeah. Well, we're building. We never knew it was going to come to this, but it's here. And, hey, I got to take advantage of it.
You got the jacket on. You got the Houday glaces in your sneakers. This is
yeah.
Unbelievable. By the way, if you're sitting at work and you're goofing off and you're hiding in your cubicle, hey, you're just like me. But if you'd like to see this, maybe on a phone, sneak outside, yada, 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 you can get the app. Get the WCPO app. Get that on this, where is it?
Oh, yeah, I always carry mine on me.
Here,
never leave home without it.
Yeah, one of these,
right.
I guess it goes this way, one of these smartphones.
It goes to space and comes back.
It's in time continuum.
It's unreal.
But get the app, and then if you don't have a chance to see us live, all of these shows are available 24/7, 356, yes. 65 on WCPO.com.
Always.
We've got a great cast of characters here besides Mr. Satin. Back on the back bench, unbelievably, yes. Behind the controls is Mike Strotman. Mike, good to see you.
Yeah, good to be here, filling in for Matt.
And you got Rob Hoffman is here. Normally, Rob is like at the nerve center of WCPO, but now he's come into the nervous center of WCPO. And Brian Neese. Brian there accused me of sleeping at my desk last week, but he's back, running the power beard. And, of course, to their far left, our screen right, is the beauty and the brains behind the whole thing, Libby Duber and Mike Cannon. Good to see you both.
I guess that's better than the beauty and the beast.
Take some mic up. Put this mic up.
Well, you got the beard. Go
Oh, yeah, I do.
Everybody's rocking beards here except me.
It's time.
Do you know how hard it is for a red-haired guy to grow a beard? It's very, very difficult. And I know somebody that can confirm this. Because joining us now on the Flying Pigskin is that red-haired devil himself, one of the three most powerful gingers in the Tri-State. That would be our buddy, Rocky Boiman. Rocky, welcome back.
Ken, I'm glad to be here, and I cannot grow a beard as well. It looks very splotchy and just looks bad, so you and I need to keep a clean-shaven face.
You know who tried to do that was Carson Palmer, and it always looked like he had been like kissing a dirt pile whenever he tried to grow a beard. It's very difficult for red-haired people to do this, and I don't know why, except that perhaps it just doesn't stand out and it just looks scruffy all the time.
Yeah, something about the splotchiness and the fact that it's not a very thick beard. I don't know, it looks bad. So I usually try one like once a year and it always fails.
Yeah. What do you place? Do you place any credence, any belief in the fact that the Bengals now control their own destiny and have, I guess, the #1 seed in the AFC? Does that matter with 4 weeks to go?
Absolutely it does. I mean, I think, look, 2 weeks ago, we thought that we'd be fighting for Denver for maybe possibly that second seed, and then here we go. No one thought it would happen, but New England loses 2 straight. So now there's a good possibility that the road to the Super Bowl travels through Cincinnati. So the dream season continues, and I think the Bengals certainly have 3 very winnable games ahead of them, if not 4. And a chance to possibly go 13-3, 14-2 is still there. So we shall see.
Of all the things that happened on Sunday, the most impressive for me was watching Jeremy Hill run for almost 100 yards because, Rock, the weather gets lousy around here. It's going to be pitiful in Denver. We know that. And then when you get into January, you could have everything. You could have ice, snow, sleet, dogs and cats living together. You could have everything in January, and you need a guy that can run for 100 yards and run the way Hill did yesterday.
Absolutely. I got the feeling before the game, and I'm sure you did too, Ken, that Hugh Jackson really wanted to establish a run this week, and why wouldn't you? The Browns were the second worst in the NFL stopping the run. But the fact that they were able to do that, the first half stats, the Bengals ran the ball 14 times and only passed it 12. And I think they would have ran it even more, but it's just that the Browns gave Dalton some advantageous looks that he checked the play to. But certainly very, very important to get that ground game going. I thought they did that yesterday.
What was so beautiful about that is not only Jay Hill right there, you got Gio, and that just sets it up beautiful for us to do whatever we want to through the air. And I think that showed yesterday.
Well, and to your point, I think, Jeremy Hill got the bulk of the carries yesterday, and people were saying, oh, well, Gio didn't have that great of a day. Well, look, that's kind of how it's supposed to be. That's less wear and tear, that's less hits that Gio was taking yesterday. So come late December when it really, really counts, and into January, of course, hopefully both those guys will be fresh.
The Browns are awful. You might not have known this, Rocky, but they're just horrid. They're going to start Manziel the final 4 games of the season. Why he didn't start yesterday is beyond me. I guess they have to find out whether or not he's the guy. But I don't care whether Manziel comes out and wins the next 4. They've got to draft a quarterback next year in the first round. They can't keep doing what they're doing with their quarterback situation, because you can't win if you don't have a quarterback. And they've whiffed on Brady Quinn, Brandon Weeden, and now Manziel. They got to go out and draft a guy, don't they?
They do. I mean, it sounds like a broken record, but yeah, the Browns are seemingly every 2 years they have to draft a quarterback in the top 5, and they're going to be doing that again. Now, who that's going to be? A lot of names out there: Connor Cook, Jacoby Brissett from NC State. I think makes sense. But either way, at some point the Browns got to get some continuity. That's the thing. They've had 9 head coaches since they've moved back to Cleveland in 1999. In a bevy of offensive coordinators, so you draft players to fit a certain system, Ken, and then by the time it's maybe starts to get going, you flip the script and you change the coach and you change the philosophy, you change the offensive scheme. So it's very, very tough to succeed. I think it's the example's been put out there, but the Browns right now are the Bengals of the 1990s, where they always reach for draft picks and we're always constantly just searching and finding. And now you see the Browns doing that, and the Bengals are drafting not by need, but for the best player available, which helps your continuity.
Rock, I know you're the new nighttime voice on WLW 9 to midnight, where you go to 39 states, and so your whole lifestyle has changed because you now are a night owl. So I'm guessing that you stayed up last night and watched the Steelers and the Colts because you used to play for the Colts. I'm looking at this game last night, and the Steelers' offense is about as potent as any offense I've seen. But my feeling is they're coming to town here this week. They're looking at the injury situation the Bengals have in their secondary, which is significant. Yes. Do you envision a game this coming Sunday when Antonio Brown runs crazy, when Martavis Bryant can fly by this Bengals secondary, or do you feel this Bengals defense, which is the top defense in the NFL when it comes to points allowed, do you think they can control this group?
I think they can, and it's certainly going to be tough. And certainly that was the Browns' game plan, right? Hey, let's try to take advantage of a beat-up Bengals secondary. They just didn't have the quarterback or the horses to do it. But obviously it's different with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think it's going to be very, very tough. But I think if Adam Jones, if that foot continues to get healthy, that's key. Possibly get Leon Hall back, but I still feel confident in the secondary. And for the most part, Ken, the biggest reason I say that is the front 7, especially the front 4 of the Bengals, is really, really tearing it up right now. Geno Atkins, nobody could block him on Sunday. Not their guard, not their other guard, not their center. Couldn't block him. Carlos Dunlap went off. So I think that's going to be the key. Yes, the Bengals secondary is beat up, but if they can continue to get pressure and force Big Ben to, he's not as mobile as he used to be, to get to him and possibly force some bad throws, I think the secondary will be okay.
And keep him off the field.
Hey, Rocky, speaking of the secondary, what do you think of the rookies, the young corners playing right now? They had to fill in and did all right yesterday, but
well, they did. And first of all, let's just say this: the fact that you get an opportunity in December to get 8 rookies on the field is tremendous. I mean, what a blessing for this team, where God forbid going forward here somebody gets hurt, a primetime player gets hurt. Now you got a guy that's coming off the bench. Yes, it's not going to be as great as a starter, but the fact that they have some game experience, they have a full quarter of game experience of blocking and tackling, and I think it's so key to get that, because you never know. You've heard the phrase, the next man up, and now if the Bengals do have to have a next man up situation, those guys will have some experience, which is very valuable.
Right.
Hey, Rock, always good to see you. One of the 3 most ravishing redheads in the Tri-State, Rocky Boiman and Andy Dalton, and we'll let you pick who the 3rd one is. Good to see you, Rock.
Thanks, Rocky.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Tune them in, 9 to midnight, 700 WLW.
Looked like he had a little friend back there behind him.
A friend?
Yeah, did you see that little dog back there?
I saw the dog bed. I should have asked him.
Yeah, it looked like a little dog creeped in there at the end there.
What's the name of you have a Mr. Peepers,
Oh.
the cat? What's his name?
Leroy Diesel Brown.
Leroy Diesel Brown.
Oh, yeah,
That
biggest-
is cat in the whole dang
That's right.
town. I hear you. I hear you. Let's look at the AFC North roundup here. Let's look at the standings. The Bengals are 10-2. The Steelers are going to the playoffs. I've said this before. I think the Steelers are 7-5.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
no-
that's right.
nevertheless-
7-5.
Nevertheless, I think the Steelers are going to the playoffs because I just look at the landscape of the AFC and I don't see anything in there that would lead me to believe that there's anybody in that AFC that's going to catch them. I just think, regardless of what happens this week, and Mike, you're there on the sideline, regardless of what happens this week, I still think that they have the best chance of all the AFC teams to get a wild card spot. What say you?
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think they're the best.
What are
Here we
you,
go.
a lawyer back there?
This is, oh, we got,
You know, they arrest people that do that stuff.
right,
Okay.
yeah. So anyway, I think Pittsburgh is offensively, like we talked about. They're great. I mean, Bryant reminds me of Chris Henry. Brown runs all. He's starting to throw the ball to Wheaton now. I mean, so I think they're the best team. The thing is, though, if they lose this week to us, and then the week after that they go to Denver and lose, possibly, then maybe they find themselves in a situation they don't make the playoffs.
Do you think 9 wins gets you in?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's going to be close. I mean, I think for the Steelers, this is a huge game for them. Not only because it's your division, but the division's out anyway. But I don't think they can afford to lose to us and then have to pin their hopes on going to Denver.
The problem
You know
is,
what I mean?
they're playing their best football right now this season. You know, they got Big Ben back. He looks all world right now.
Yeah.
You know, and he's got so many receivers, it's ridiculous. They've got number 1 guys sitting on the bench right now. So, I mean, you look at us and, you know, they're coming to our house.
I didn't know you played for the Bengals.
Yeah, hey, this is us. We're Cincinnati. We got to feel good about this.
And
right?
they run the ball well too.
They
I mean,
do.
even without Bell.
Yeah,
But
that
you know what?
D'Angelo Williams cat can bring it.
Yeah.
They've always been next man up, but you know what? We are starting to do that too. Cincinnati is starting to get to that next man up.
Right.
And I like our chances. I don't see them coming in here knocking us off. And even with them playing their best ball right now, if we keep that running game going, we keep it on the ground like you're talking about with Jeremy Hill, little dumps of Gio, keep Ben out off the field. We'll be all right.
Yep.
All right, the Ravens. It was horrible yesterday. Did you see Matt Schaub get his head bounced
Yeah.
off the turf like a basketball?
Yeah.
I
Terrible.
fell for that dude. He looked
That
like
was-
he had to grow a new neck.
That was a bad game. They had, what, 61 total. Dolphins had 61 total yards in the second half, but, you know, they still win the game. It's just, Schaub had another pick 6. I mean, they just looked bad.
Could I commission Mike Cannon?
Yes,
Is that possible
absolutely.
that we could commission Mike
Throw
Cannon
him
to
up
look
there,
up
yeah.
and see which of the wild card pretenders in the AFC has the easiest pathway?
I was starting to look at that right now, actually, because you've got really, if you look at, you've got the Steelers at 7-5, you've got the Jets at 7-5, you got the Chiefs at 7-5. So unless something remarkable happens, you're going to have one or two of those teams on the outside looking in.
I think the
Yeah.
Chiefs have beaten the Steelers.
They did.
They did, and the Chiefs, you have to keep in mind, they've won 6 in a row.
That's right. That's right.
They're looking really, really good right now. So, you know, I'll do some quick look in here to see what each team has coming up.
And the other thing, too, you mentioned the Jets. I believe that's who New England ends their season with. And I think that game is in New York or New Jersey in the Meadowlands.
Love that.
The Jets at home are really good, which is, and then they got Fitzy as their quarterback, right? So Fitzy could deliver a little gift back to the Bengals on that final game of the
Yeah.
season against the Pats.
Sort
Wily
of a ginger,
veteran.
right? So a little,
Fitzy,
you know.
Ryan Fitzpatrick stopped me in the Bengals locker room. This has got to be like 7 years ago. And he came up to me and he said, "Could I get my picture taken with you? You are my wife's favorite sportscaster."
I love that.
Really?
That's amazing.
Now,
That's
you know,
awesome.
when somebody does that, you don't know if they're being sarcastic, like, "Man, my wife really hates him, but let me show you this picture just to make my wife
you
mad."
can't think that in those
I
terms.
do, because
You can't.
well, if you think everyone is out to get you, it doesn't mean you're paranoid, okay? And I just thought maybe that's what was at work. But that
Gotcha.
wasn't that cool?
I
That
love
is
you know
cool.
you are a Cincinnati treasure, Ken. Let's just let it be known.
You want to mention that to management?
Hey, I'm trying to get you a spa in
Did
here so
he-
you take some naps. Maybe
Now
get a
you're
little,
talking.
Little neck rubs, or maybe.
Now you're talking.
Did Fitzy have the
Something.
beard?
No,
Did
he had
did
no
not-
beard at the
no
time.
beard at the time?
No, he was like Fitzy au naturel. He
That
had
thing
no
was
beard, no
straight out of
facial-
Harvard.
Exactly. Exactly.
Wow.
Tells coach that he had a couple kids, so the beard must be working for him. He
Oh,
said-
is that right?
I think who's the Jets coach? I can't remember who it is off the top of my head. But
Bowles, Todd Bowles, right?
Todd
yeah,
Bowles?
Bowles made some comment about how his beard looked horrible, and he said, "Well, must be working because I got a couple kids." So.
You can barely see his face. I mean,
I don't understand the logic there, but
There are people running around here with kids that I don't think is that attractive. We could put it in those terms, right?
we'll run around here in this building?
I mean, anywhere. Well, yeah, probably.
Probably, it could be.
all right.
Thank God mine look like my wife's.
I don't have
we
any,
gotta-
so we're good there.
Yeah.
Pick up the carnage in Cleveland, huh?
Do we have Randy
Yeah.
Ziemnik from WEWS?
Yes.
We like Randy because Randy brings a tinge of realism,
We need that.
and we like realism on this show. Randy Ziemnik from WEWS, which would be Channel 5 in Cleveland. Do you know that?
All right.
Do you know back in the '70s in Cleveland, Channel 5 had a promo that they would put on there, and it was always called Catch 5.
That's when the
Catch
river
five.
caught fire, right?
I think that's a myth in Cleveland. Randy Ziemnik, WEW. Has the river real? I mean, is that just like urban myth, or has the Cuyahoga River really caught fire at some point?
Oh, it has. No, it's several times it's caught fire. That is not. That is no
Really?
joke. That's serious stuff there. The river has caught fire.
But not recently though, right? Because you got the flats down there. There's a lot going on in the flats.
No, they've done a really nice job. They cleaned up the river downtown. A lot of development, a lot of good things going on. So yes, on that note, things are looking up in Cleveland.
Yeah,
Good
they
breweries.
probably have to fumigate the locker room at the end of the season. And now do I hear Manziel is starting the rest of this season? Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean that's from every indication. Mike Pettin's talking at about 3:30 to the media this afternoon, and every indication is that Johnny be good. Here we go again, Johnny Manziel.
And is Pettin dead man walking?
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah, that's what I got the feeling that this was probably not something he wanted to do. You and I, we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
So this is coming from somebody, either Farmer or from, what's the name of that dude that owns the team up there?
Jimmy
Laura-
Haslam.
Oh, that's right, the airplane guy.
Yeah.
That he's probably telling, we need to play him, the fans want him, and oh, by the way, we got to find out if this guy's ever going to be our quarterback. That would be logical, would it not?
Yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is Mike Pettin has final say on the game day roster, who's up, who plays, and all that. But you got to look at, does Austin Davis give you a chance to win, or does Johnny Manziel give you a chance to win? They probably both don't, but you got to see if you got something to Manziel. And, you guys watched yesterday. There were a lot of empty orange seats at First Energy Stadium yesterday, and the ones that were occupied, a lot of Bengals fans made the trek up to Cleveland yesterday. Not a good sight at all.
Yeah, we also saw a bunch of Bengals jumping into the stands. I tell you, that's the first I've ever seen that, and and they got away with it. I thought that was pretty crazy. To see.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing. Got to give Christian Kirksey, the Browns linebacker, some credit. He was only one that basically went over there and said, "Hey, look, man, get the hell out of our stands."
Yeah,
basically.
that's worth 15 yards for sure.
Yeah, I know they had no doubt about it. I was surprised more of his teammates didn't come over and help him out on that one, to be honest with you.
So you think the Browns are going to clean house? So they're going to get Farmers out, Pettins out. That's what you believe, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's every indication you're getting out of there. I mean, 2-15 your last 17 games.
Yeah.
The biggest thing I keep on coming back to is where do you build upon with this football team? You know what I mean? Where's your building blocks at? I mean, you got a bunch of small receivers, first-round picks that haven't panned out to this point. This is rock bottom. We say it every year. It can't get any worse. But right now, this is rock bottom in Cleveland.
Well, Brady Quinn was a whiff. Brandon Weeden was a whiff. Manziel looks like a whiff. I'm not sure. It's so difficult to draft a quarterback and take that quarterback and make him the center of your franchise. If it was easy, every team could do it. The Bengals really lucked out with Dalton to wait to the second round to get him.
Yeah.
But there are names out there, and we all know the names. The question becomes, can you attract the coaching staff that can groom that quarterback into becoming your next Andy Dalton? I think that's what's critical here. Yeah. I don't know where that guy exists, but they got to go find that guy, right? That's probably, when you hire a head coach, you got to get somebody in there with him that's a quarterback guru. I don't know where you go for something like that. That's his biggest draft at a quarterback.
No, you're right. I think what it comes down to is Jimmy Haslam, the owner, is going to have to dish out, my goodness, maybe $10 million a year, $15 million a year to get the right person in here. Somebody was saying his job isn't as unattractive as it would seem. For the simple fact that you would be coming in to basically a blank canvas, possibly the first overall pick, say on personnel, a hefty salary, but you're going to have to overpay to get somebody in here, a name brand.
Yeah.
I have a solution for you guys up there.
Oh, I know it's going to be, and I like your solution.
And it's, you take Manziel and you give him to Jerry Jones, and Jerry Jones will give you whatever you want for him up there. Trust in that. You might get a Greg Hardy out of it too.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want him, but it's a building block.
Yeah, it's going to be. Manziel's going to have these last 4 games to kind of demonstrate that he can play quarterback in this league, or just we're at the point where we're going to cut ties and that's it. So he's got these 4 games. We'll see. I don't know, and I don't know what you get for him. Say he plays moderately well these last 4 games, and you decide I still want to cut bait with him. What is the asking price? What are you going to get for Johnny Manziel? A 4th, 5th round pick at best?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. You've seen a lot of football in your time. Do you think the Bengals look like a team that could play in the Super Bowl?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's a fantastic football team. I like Hugh Jackson too, your offense coordinator.
He might be your next head coach.
He could.
Yeah, I mean, what you guys do on offense, creative, a lot of different exotic looks, motion everywhere. The defense is playing fantastic. Big wide receivers, big time running back. Defense plays well. Good quarterback. You got all the pieces to be a very good team. To make a decent run at the Super Bowl. Yeah, absolutely. A legitimate Super Bowl contenders are the Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, keep the faith, man. I mean, you
Yes,
got
sir.
LeBron, so you got that big Christmas Day matchup with Golden State coming up. So, life ain't all that bad up there.
We got the Cavs. And I tell people this. The outlook in this city, if LeBron James did not come back, my goodness. I've got a lot going on.
I think I've seen that sign in the dog pound like 2 or 3 weeks in a row. We still have LeBron or something? I don't.
Yeah. Thank you, Randy.
Yes, sir. Thanks, fellas.
All right, Randy Ziemnik, WEWS. Check him out, Channel 5 in Cleveland.
All right, guys, I got my analysis.
Good, here we go.
of
I know
our,
Mike wouldn't let us down.
It took some digging here, but it looks like the Chiefs have just a cakewalk to the playoffs.
Really?
So the Chiefs' last 4 games are 3 home games against the Chargers
Win.
next week. Then they're at the Ravens.
Win.
Then they play at home against the Browns.
Win.
And then at home against the Raiders.
They're in.
What? They
So
started
They'll
1-5.
The Raiders game could be dicey, but you know what? There's 3 wins right there, so they're at 10.
Combined, the winning record or the records of the next 4 opponents for the Chiefs are 16-32.
Now, what about Pittsburgh?
So Pittsburgh has the toughest road to go. Combined, the records of the team Pittsburgh's plays are 26-22.
Mm-hmm.
They're at the Bengals this week.
Loss.
Home against the Broncos.
Win.
And at the Ravens and at the Browns to end the season. So they'll win the last 2.
They'll get to 9.
So
They're home against the Broncos?
They're home against the Broncos.
Yeah, they'll beat Denver.
The Jets are home against the Titans this week.
Win.
At the Cowboys.
Win.
Then they play home against the Patriots.
Loss.
And then at the Bills, which is probably a coin flip.
So they could go. That sounds like 2-2. Because the Bills may still be alive for a playoff spot then, right?
The Bills are 6-6.
Yeah.
we can put up the AFC picture here.
Yeah,
Playoff
the
picture.
Bills are 6-6. The Texans and Colts are both 6-6. So one of those teams could squeak their way in if Pittsburgh or the Jets can't take care of business.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's the picture right there.
Yeah, I like the Chiefs then at that. Well, you could get the Colts. Yeah, Colts may not win their division. They could be out.
Well,
I
it's
think
going to be the Colts or Houston.
Yeah, but it's not going to be both.
Right.
I don't think.
It's one or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really for those last 2 playoff spots. It's the Jets the Chefs,
the Pittsburgh, and
I mean, I like the Jets coming in there and creeping on New England that last game.
I like the Jets and the Chiefs, so I think the Steelers have a tough path to go.
well, that's what I was saying earlier. It's a huge game for the Steelers.
This
week?
game's
Yeah,
big.
Oh,
this
you're
is-
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is
It is
because
for us,
they lose
probably.
to us, and then if they, they're at home, but it's the Broncos. It's not going to be an easy game,
No,
So
no.
that-
No, but I think the Steelers, if the Steelers beat the Bengals this week, the Steelers will get to 10 wins.
Yeah.
They'll get to 10. But so really, you're right. This is everything for them this week because the Chefs are going to win 10.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
got that walk there.
Yeah.
The best part of that whole thing is look at number one. You got to go through the jungle right now. Not just saying, you got to go through the jungle to go to the Super Bowl, and that sounds nice.
Now, from what I understand, you've been on the streets.
Oh, always on the streets.
You're
I
the
can't
guy,
get off the streets.
You're like Mr. Downtown Cincinnati. You emanate from over the Rhine, but
Yeah,
you could be
yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah.
And when the streetcar comes in, your legend may spread all over. downtown.
That is the point.
Is the streetcar? Will you be like riding the streetcar?
Yeah, I'm going to be hanging out, and slapping high fives and hopefully kissing babies and I don't know, touching things and stuff and having fun.
Touching things and stuff. Wow. Anyway, you've got a package. On the level news.
Yes.
Let's take a look.
Let's take a look. Things and stuff.
We're all winning. We're looking real good. What team do you like to see lose and go down?
Patriots.
Hey, yes.
That game was something.
What team do you like to see lose, man, go down?
Oh, definitely the Browns.
Browns.
Definitely.
Put it down.
Oh, yeah.
What team do you love to watch lose?
Green Bay Packers.
Green Bay Packers. What's a team that you love to see lose, man?
The Texans. Yeah, I'm from Covington, but I come all the way out here from Texas to see the Bengals the first time.
What team do you love to see lose?
New England.
I like that. I'm good with that, man.
I would love to see New England lose.
No, we all love to see the Bengals winning, and we're winning. We're doing a great job. Who do you like to see lose?
Oh, Steelers. It has to be the Steelers, man.
That's right. What team do you like to see lose, man?
Pittsburgh, of course.
Every day. That's right.
Pittsburgh every single day.
Yeah,
and you
now.
always root against them.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
Pittsburgh all day.
All day. We're looking good. We're winning. What team do you like to see lose?
Pittsburgh.
Who do you want to see go down?
Pittsburgh. You know it, Pittsburgh.
All day. Who do you love to watch lose?
Oh, Pittsburgh.
That's right.
Pittsburgh.
That is the correct answer.
Oh, yeah.
People in this town hate the Steelers. If you haven't noticed.
Yeah, and it was an easy. We kind of volleyed up there, but we got some interesting
You did.
answers with that.
I'm
but it's all
surprised you can
Steelers.
find these people.
Well, once the microphone comes out,
Yeah.
once the glitter and the light with Brian back there, this camera comes out.
Right.
They flock. It's unreal.
You could do a whole thing next year on the streetcar, like just talk to people getting on and off the streetcar.
That's going to happen.
By the way, what that thing just travels through downtown?
Yeah.
So you have to park downtown to get on the streetcar.
Well, I think the goal is you start somewhere.
Well,
Right, you got to start somewhere.
Everybody
and you get
does.
the core, and then you start building out to really grow the
Like
city.
tentacles.
Yeah, you grow the city. You get it up there by UC. Maybe you take it up the incline. All that kind of stuff.
it's got to branch out, is what you're saying.
I'm not in charge of it, but if I were,
Yeah.
if I got a paycheck from them, that's what I would suggest.
Here's what you can do with the streetcar. You can come down to over the Rhine. You can park where Music Hall is. You can get some brunch before the game.
Yes.
Right? You can take the streetcar down to the game, go to the game, then take the streetcar back up to one of the bars and drink up at one of the bars later in the afternoon.
It's weird because you can drink
That's what I'm gonna
the
do.
whole
You
way.
sound like
too.
Mark Mallory.
Johnny Manziel.
We might see him on that thing next year
Oh,
if
yeah.
he's out of a job.
You imagine they're playing the Browns downtown, and Manziel's deactivated, and he's on the streetcar and going over the Rhine.
Yeah. Next stop, all aboard.
Yeah, I'll be back in time for the bus back to the airport.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
So the consensus is we hate Pittsburgh, though.
Yes, I think so.
Right?
for sure.
Not
It's
all
a
of us.
rival, though.
We know. There's a woman here in town
Yeah.
who
right.
does not hate Pittsburgh. In fact, she is a Steelers fan. She has ties to WCPO.com, and her name is Liz Dawn.
She's a good friend.
Right, and Liz, there's Liz. Hi. And when we all sang "Dawn, Go Away," I'm no good for you. No, we didn't sing that. But what have you been up to besides putting your Christmas tree up?
Well, I've been cooking a baby. I'm about almost 9 months pregnant.
What do you do?
I'm due a month from tomorrow.
Oh, well, congratulations. And you have a dog, too. What's the dog's name?
Yeah. This is Lucy.
Lucy.
She's very excited to be on the show.
Right, she looks. Oh, there's Lucy. Wow.
Made for camera right there.
What kind of dog is Lucy?
She's a boxer mix.
A boxer mix.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good-looking dog.
It is a good-looking dog. Now, Liz, you're a Steelers fan, right? You haven't changed.
I am. I will always be a Steelers fan.
And
my family's from there.
Yeah.
I lived there for 10 years. It's in my blood.
Well, your baby should be a Bengals fan.
Yeah,
since your husband is.
Oh, it will be.
Now, you watched the game last night, right? You saw the Steelers and the Colts, and it was just a good old slap upside the head with a skillet. Can they do that when they come here next week?
No, it's not going to be a bloodbath. I mean, let's face it, the Colts, I mean, they're not a formidable opponent.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think the Steelers are going to put up a bigger fight than they did the last time when they were in Pittsburgh against the Bengals. I hope so, anyway.
Well, the greatest running back in the league, Le'Veon Bell, got knocked out of that game.
He was out. It's still a close game. I mean, it wasn't a blowout.
Yeah.
And the offense kind of collapsed once he got injured and got carted off, but I think the offense is now like, okay, Bell's gone for a while. We got to jump on the Williams bandwagon, and they're playing great. Williams is running well. The offense is working around him well. My biggest concern is our secondary.
Yeah.
Secondary is just, they terrify me. They absolutely terrify me.
Yeah.
And I really think that Dalton can pick them apart if he wants to.
Well, then it may be a track meet. I mean, it might be which secondary can control the other team's wide receivers, and Jones will probably be better than what he was yesterday with his foot deal. But you've got a safety out now. The kid got knocked out last night, and you've got Reggie Nelson is playing, not so great health-wise. George Iloka is not so great health-wise. So it may come down to which secondary can control the other guy's wide receivers.
It could be, absolutely. I mean, and the new kid that played last night, Boiman, he looked really good. I was glad to see him come in and do something.
Yeah.
The secondary for the Steelers hasn't been good since like 1995 when Carnell Lake and Rod Woodson were there. They've been a problem for the last 20 years. It's just it's exhausting for me.
Well, the wild card too is we got these big boys in the middle, Geno Atkins, Williams. These guys, if they get to Ben, because Ben's got some health issues, it might be a short game.
Ben Roethlisberger, though, is like, I can't determine whether he's a cockroach or RoboCop. He's something in there, because every time you think he's dead, he comes back to life.
Yeah.
And he extends plays, and he's got 2 bad feet. I'm not a big fan of the mustache, but Liz, you can't stop this guy. He's unbelievable.
No. I like your calling him a cockroach. He is. He's absolutely.
Me too.
Well, the first time they played too, that was Ben's first game back after.
Right. And that
injury.
was another injury where they thought that maybe he was going to be out for the season.
Right.
And then he comes back and plays. And then last week where he wasn't even the starter, but then he comes back and plays. And he is a cockroach, and I'm totally fine with that.
Yes. I think he is too, to be honest with you. If I ever see him, I'll call him one. I think he'd be pleased.
Yeah, I don't know.
So do you have a prediction for the game on Sunday?
Ooh.
Labor pains?
Oh.
Take it easy now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
I think I'm going to say 30-27 Steelers.
You got Well, you got to say Steelers. I don't
that with my hopes high.
Okay.
It's a must-win game for them. They have to win that game.
So you're a month out. Good luck. Probably the child will be named like Terry or Franco or something like that, I would think, maybe.
My family and I have been batting around those names. We're all leaning towards Franco. My husband, not so much. He's not really on board with that.
Well,
Franco Satin.
What does he want to be? He wants to be called Icky? I mean,
Paul.
come on.
Paul.
Well, yeah, there's just no good Bengals names to fall back on.
Mean Joe Satin.
Yeah. Liz, thank you. Good luck. Good luck.
Thanks,
And have a
Liz.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks a lot.
Take care.
Liz Dawn, big Steeler fan. And now we're
Oh,
joined by a
geez.
man who, let's just say, Mike, how would you describe the real McCoy if you had to?
He's I would say he's a money guy.
Money
Just
guy.
kind of follows the money.
Because he's
Yeah.
always on the money?
Well,
or
no, because he doesn't have a team. He has no loyalty to a team. He just follows the money. He gives me hell about the Bengals all the time.
Well, yeah, but you know
yet,
what? His team is ABC.
Point spread guy.
Anybody but Cincinnati.
Yeah.
The real
Here he
McCoy,
is.
The real McCoy is here, and look what he's wearing.
What is that?
Wow. Is that a Star Wars shirt? No.
The Steelers.
Okay.
I hope someone gave that.
It
to
does
me.
look
You
like
didn't
science
buy that.
When you go home at night, when you go home and you're in your most intimate moment, your most private
Whoa.
moment. I don't mean that.
Oh, okay.
What do you ever say to yourself, man, Cincinnati's got themselves a great football team?
Never.
Because Andy Dalton.
Sucks.
Now, why would you say that? Look at him yesterday here. I was ready for this.
Go ahead
Andy
with it.
Dalton, 14 to 19, 220 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. What's wrong with those
That's
numbers?
solid.
And they win. They put 37 up.
There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with those numbers. Let me tell you what's wrong with the whole picture. That game yesterday, it's like when you got a kid and you squeeze his arm. It should have been called Uncle a long time ago. That win yesterday didn't do the Bengals no good, none whatsoever. And here's why I say that. And Mike, while I'm speaking, could you look up the statistics and tell me how many teams the Bengals beat this year that their record was over 500? Or if it was just at 500.
Well, they don't choose the teams they have to play.
I understand that, but I just want to find out. And the reason I'm getting to that is because the Bengals right now, they're going to go into the playoffs flat. And what I'm saying is, you always want to be in contention to play somebody that's, where you're going uphill. Right now, they're just on a plane doing this right here, okay? And when they get into a game where you're going to have some adversity, some comeback, that sort of thing, I don't think it's going to be there for them. Regardless if they have the first round bye, the playoff is here. When these teams get in the playoff, it's a different game. It's one game at a time. All that stuff in the past doesn't mean nothing.
You still have to play the Steelers in Denver, though. That's up there.
You got that right, but what I'm saying right now, that game yesterday didn't do them any good. Now, if anything, it gave these rookies, guys that never had a chance to play, now, they should have got a whole quarter because that game was over in the first quarter. So some of these guys that didn't get a chance to play, let them play a quarter and a half or something like that. So, it is what it is. And what I'm saying is they are going to, right now, they're almost limping into the playoffs. Now they're going to come into the playoffs limping.
Hey, Mike, look at our
Patriots are limping.
Look at what our quarterback's done here in 20. Look at that.
Look at that.
Okay.
Passer rating.
Best passer rating
Number
in the
one.
league.
Okay.
MVP.
Andy Dalton.
Okay.
There's only 5 over 100.
Okay, but that's for right now. When the playoffs roll around, and after the playoffs, when these two teams have came into the Super Bowl, as Mr. Satin come talking about, the Super Bowl goes through Cincinnati.
That's right.
It may go through Cincinnati, but will the Bengals win that game to get there?
John Lennon said this back in 1967, and I think you need to understand the words, Mike, rather real McCoy. All you need is love. Love is all you need.
That's not happening.
There's nothing
Those
you
are
can
big
do
words.
that can't be done. There's nothing you can sing that can't be sung.
Exactly.
All you need is love.
Love.
Hey, careful.
That's all you need. Just love the team.
That's
It's
expensive,
okay.
right?
But
That's expensive song.
Here's what gets me with these Bengal fans, okay? If they lose to Pittsburgh on Sunday, you're going to hear them up there booing their own players.
That's wrong.
I guarantee
That's
you
wrong.
that'll happen.
That's wrong.
So if you're going to Be a Bengals fan. Be a true Bengals fan.
Right.
Now, I have to take it back. It's Brian and Stratman in this building and Mr. Satin. Everybody else in the building are fake fans.
I'm a fake fan?
Yeah, because you wear this gear every now and then when they win them, they lose. You take your gear off and you stuff it and hide it and that sort of
like
thing.
that shirt you're wearing right there?
Yeah. No, I'm a fair weather fan.
You are?
Whatever team is winning, that's who I go with. I don't choose losers.
They're 10-2.
They're gonna be a loser. That's what I'm saying. I'm foretelling the future.
You're crystal balling right now.
Exactly.
No, I will say this. I will say this, and you and I have talked about this, Real McCoy. There is a large faction in this town, and I've said this here. There's a large faction of fans in this town, 40%, 60%, that aren't buying into this until they win a playoff game. And then when they win a playoff game, a lot of them aren't buying in till they win the Super Bowl. That's it. You go down to that stadium, last couple of home games, it's not sold out. They announce crowds, but there are not that many people in there. They're not going because they ain't buying into this. It's like, wake me up on January the 10th. That's what's going on in this town with a lot of people, and I would challenge anybody to tell me I'm wrong.
Exactly. Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
So getting back to Mike's question here, the Bengals have...
What I didn't say, what I said wasn't interesting? Is that what you're saying?
But my question was asked a while ago.
No, it's covered that ground.
That's a little bit of a sad truth, though. It hurts to hear that, is what I'm saying.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Bengals have 3 wins against teams over 500. They have 1 win against a team at 500. So they're 3-1 against teams with records above 500. They're 1-1 against teams with a 500 record. And then they've got 6 wins against crappy teams under 500.
Now look at that overall picture. Can you see what I'm trying to tell you what's going on here? If there's a team that is decent, good running back, good quarterback, halfway decent, good quarterback, good defensive play, good line, the Bengals are going to have a problem.
They got a 75% win percentage against teams above 500.
Yeah,
so.
10-2 don't lie.
That's a good set.
I didn't say that it lies, but hey, it can come about when you're playing a tougher team.
I will say this: when they beat the Chiefs weren't good. When they
True.
The Chiefs were not good.
Neither was Oakland.
Neither was Pittsburgh.
Right.
So Oakland was the first game of the season. But you play who they tell you to play. You can't go out and say, well, I'm only going to play sub 500 teams.
No,
it's not like college football.
That.
It's not like college football where you can pick your schedule and play a bunch of patsies.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But more or less, this season has been pretty much a patsy for the Bengals because the teams they've been running into have had a bunch of injuries on their team. So don't look at it like the Bengals have been beating some teams that everybody's healthy and that they're real good.
I tell you what, we've gotten lucky. We have gotten lucky. We've gotten lucky in the injury department.
Oh, you admit that?
Well, hey, it's common knowledge.
They lose Dalton, it's all over.
Well, sure. You can look at any of the big guys like that. If the Carolina loses Cam Newton, they're done. You know, I mean, so you got that everywhere, right?
Right.
But we've gotten lucky. We've stayed healthy.
Right.
But it's about time. We need some luck in this town.
Right.
Let's take it. Let's run with it.
And it's okay to embrace this team. So I mean, I want to get into this who wins Sunday thing because I don't have a real. I know what the backbench is going to say. I do. I know what you're going to say.
Sure.
I know what you're going to say. So the only opinion that matters now is mine. I want to do the 2-minute drill, and I want to start with Brian. Brian, what happens on Sunday where the Bengals tee it up with the Steelers?
I think what it comes down to is our offensive line and our defensive secondary. If those guys can execute like they should, it's going to be a win.
Yeah.
That's the only question mark for me.
James Harrison, 3 sacks last night, by the way. What about it, Mike? What do you think this Sunday?
I agree with Brian. I think the offensive line they played well all season except for the game they played against Pittsburgh, and they have to be better. I think they will, and I think they'll win. It'll be a slugfest again.
I don't think they had Andre Smith in that game, did they? I think
no, they didn't.
Yeah, I think that was.
They had some problems, but all the season they've been great. So.
Well, exactly, and I tend to think that it's. I think it could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I tend to think that their secondary in Pittsburgh is not going to be able to cover the Bengals wide receivers and. Conversely, I think the Bengals secondary will be just good enough to shut down the Steelers wide receivers. That's not being a homer.
No.
I'll take that.
It's going to be a good game.
It'll be a good game.
It will be. It'll be high scoring. I mean, I think each team is in the 30s.
Pittsburgh has got to have this game.
Yeah,
They're
do.
going to play it like it's life or death. They got to have this game. Antonio Brown will probably have another
He's unstoppable.
ferocious
That's
game.
true. It
And
will
I'm
be
telling
sold
you,
out.
Ben will be on target. They just got to have it. It's like that dog with that piece of meat. He's got to have it.
You know, it's going to be they're going to stick Leon Hall on Antonio Brown, and you won't hear a peep out of Brown.
He's going to make him out of
Am I
toast.
right?
I love it.
Leon Hall.
Make him out of
Hall,
toast.
Hall, the gang's all here.
Yeah. That's gonna be
Watch Gino in the middle.
What?
He's going to have a couple sacks on Ben. He might get a hold of his ankle by accident. Things might happen. We might see might see the third string back in there again by the fourth quarter.
You know what, Broo? You had a great comment last night on Sports of All Sorts. You were talking about Geno Smith's game yesterday. No tackles, no
Geno
sacks.
Atkins.
Geno Atkins.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Geno Atkins. No,
Geno Smith had no tackles yesterday.
Yeah,
That's true.
Geno Atkins, no tackles, no sacks, but really an important part of the game. Really a game changer, putting pressure.
double team him.
Yeah, I think that was an excellent point you made, and I think that could come true again next week.
Oh, so then we're all in agreement. The Bengals are going to win this game, except
for me.
Real McCoy.
If the offensive line can execute and the secondary can execute, which I think they should, but any given Sunday, right?
The Ryder BB rifle will be throwing for less than 150 yards. He'll probably get sacked about 3 times.
I'll take that bet on 150 yards.
Ed Hartman of Furniture Fair provided these great seats that we're sitting in. The couch that you're sitting in, the chair that is nestling your body, almost enveloping you with
yes.
comfort. We want to thank the great folks at Furniture Fair.
Yes.
We're on every single Monday at 1 o'clock on WCPO.com, except when they play Monday Night Football, and then we're on Tuesdays.
Who day?
Tell your friends about us. Download the app, or download the amp if you have a guitar.
Amp it up.
And remember, we're available 24/7, 365, and only on WCPO.com.